5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
It's August 1st. Like, where the heck is summer going? It is August 1st. I hope you're having some fun. Summer, we're in the thick of it right now. If you're at the beach, the boat, the boardwalk, the backyard, the Poconos, the dental office, waiting for your car repair, wherever you are, you can have some fun courtesy of my friends at Parks Casino. They've got a seat at the table for you with a live dealer for all your favorite classic casino games right on your phone. That's the beauty of it. Wherever your phone might be, your phone is always within arm's reach, right? There's mine. Wherever your phone might be, you could be playing live baccarat, roulette, blackjack with a live dealer, playing some slots and having some fun. Make your downtime fun time. Download the BetParks app and enjoy all the action and excitement from the casino right at your fingertips. New users, download the BetParks online casino and sportsbook app right now. Get up to $1,000 casino bonus back. If you're down in the first 24 hours, the casino bonus has to be wagered. BetParks.com for all the details. You got to be 21 and in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Maryland, Ohio, or Michigan. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. You love to play. You play to win. You bet. BetParks. Time now for the headlines from the Thursday edition of the Smerconish.com daily newsletter, where the poll question today asks, did Donald Trump just lose the election? With his comments at the NABJ conference. In number one position today in the newsletter and on the website, a link from CNN.com. You can go and you can watch the entire exchange. It's another head scratcher, as I've been saying. Is he crazy like a fox? Is he crazy like a fox again? It was clearly deliberate. It's not as if Donald Trump was caught on a hot mic saying, Kamala Harris is a DEI candidate or she's Indian. No. He walked into that gathering of black journalists knowing what he was going to say and said it. And you have to ask whether it was intended as a diversion. I mean, maybe he had seen enough of the stories about Kamala Harris's ascension, the honeymoon, the polling. He needed to do something to change the narrative. I don't know. I'm grasping for straws here because it doesn't make sense, except that he had a plan. And so many times in the past, I and many others, I got a lot of company, have said, well, that's it. It's over. John McCain is not a hero. Grab him by the what? Maybe he wanted to knock J.D. Vance out of the news because Vance's launch, in contrast to Kamala Harris's launch, has gone poorly. During a 34-minute question and answer appearance before the National Association of Black Journalists, Trump questioned Harris's black identity. Here's the short version of what he had to say.
I've known her a long time indirectly, not directly very much, and she was always of Indian heritage, and she was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black. So I don't know, is she Indian or is she black?
She has always identified as a black woman. She went to a historically black college.
I respect either one, but she obviously doesn't, because she was Indian all the way, and then all of a sudden she made a turn, and she became a black person.
Just to be clear, sir, do you believe that she is...
I think somebody should look into that, too, when you ask continue in a very hostile, nasty tone.
It's a direct question, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is a DEI hire, as some Republicans
really don't
have
know.
said?
I mean, I really don't know. Could be. There are some, and there are plenty.
I mean, when I listen to this as a suburban white guy, I think, oh, my God, that's so offensive. Surely he's alienating voters with every word that he speaks. And then I say, well, okay, exactly which voters is he alienating? Well, isn't he alienating those in the room? And then I catch myself and I say, well, Joel D., the CBS 21 network anchor from Harrisburg, just provided me this audio from interviews that he did in a black barbershop preceding Trump's remarks yesterday. And what was part of the conversation? Part of the conversation among men of color was to say, they're not sure if they regard Kamala Harris as black. So, maybe Trump knew exactly what he was doing. Maybe he's playing to that audience, as counterintuitive as it might sound. I just question, as I've been saying, whether it's a wise political move with suburbanites, suburban women with whom he needs to make inroads. White women whom he won. We talked about this earlier in the week against Secretary Clinton in 2016 by 2 points, and with whom he had a 7-point margin over Joe Biden in the last cycle. So go vote at Smerconish.com on today's poll question. Did he just lose the election? And of course, we'll be adding that to the list of other times when we thought he lost the election. It's just unbelievable. Poll results yesterday, 32,839 votes cast. Should presidents appoint a new Supreme Court justice every 2 years, each limited to an 18-year term? 73.72% who voted yesterday said yes. 26.28% said no, they should not. That was the proposal of Joe Biden. Do you remember Joe Biden? Joe Biden, the president of the United States. It's unbelievable, TC.
Who?
How quickly
What?
out of the news the president has fallen.
It's amazing.
I mean, I guess this is what lame duck status is all about.
I think this is just everything right now feels like it's on steroids. So the reaction of the Democrats and the media to Kamala Harris feels more. Everything feels more. And I think it's because it sort of was this crescendo of, is he going to leave? Is he going to leave? Is he going to leave? So it wasn't normal. If it had been normal and he had never run for re-election to begin with, I don't think it would be this much of a split. But this has been an extraordinary week.
I find interesting that on Fox, they're making a big to-do over where is he, and he's going back to Rehoboth, and is he really the president?
Yes.
And can he
does
do the
does
job?
He know?
And I was tempted yesterday to send another of my be careful what you wish for tweets because, keep pushing, and if you want him to leave early, then she's going to be the president, and she perhaps will be in an enhanced position because now people will have a couple of months to think about her as the commander-in-chief and to see what that looks like. I don't think that he leaves. I don't think that President Biden, should leave. I don't see any 25th Amendment kind of thing going on here, but I did have that thought in my head. I love our editorial cartoonists. Steve Breen draws for us today as it is a Thursday. And I have to say this, I stay out of the way of the 4 editorial cartoonists that we have. Jack Oman and Rob Rogers and Steve Breen on a Thursday and Scott Stantis on a Friday. But I will be honest with you, as I see the submissions each and every day, I want balance. And I don't care if they're one day, going after Trump, but I do want them on a different day going after Harris or saluting them, whatever the case may be. Yesterday, TC, we talked about that image of Trump in, what did you call it, a onesie?
A unitard.
A unitard, and he was on parallel bars
Yes.
a la the
Yes,
Olympics.
he was.
It was beautiful.
Well,
and I think he was trying to juggle between like racism and sexism or I don't know.
Yeah.
And I'm happy that today the cartoon is one of Kamala Harris and her party platform and how she's being elevated by migrants. I think it's genius.
Well, and the platform she's standing on
genius.
is part of the wall, of the border wall. So it's just,
Right.
One thing after the other. It's kind of amazing.
Speaking
by
of
the way,
images,
in her suit.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of images, J.D. Vance's drunken college photo met with shrugs from Gizmodo.com, to which I say, as it should be. I'm sure there are some images like that of me floating around.
I couldn't agree with you more. There is so much to talk about, and there is so much to worry about, and there is so much to discuss that's just not one of them. That's just not one of them. I think we're now at the point, I actually said this with the Olympics, because now we're at the point where the athletes are young enough that they have video footage. When we were growing up, the Olympics, it would be like a grainy picture of a kid on the uneven bars. And now you have literal videos of a kid's first performance who's now an Olympiad. And these Olympic moments are extraordinary, but it shows how young they are. It's going to be the same thing with politicians, with CEOs, with anyone in the spotlight, you're going to have pictures, videos forever, for their whole life. So just get used to it. Everyone went through college years.
I wish I had photographs of my fraternity brothers and me back in the day, but on
I thought
balance,
we did see one.
I'm thrilled.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they had to be developed at Photomat, okay? You had to wait 3 days to get the picture back.
And then you're flipping through.
Right. I'm sure there's got to be photos of you at the tap, because weren't you guys on tap 24/7 at the fraternity
24/7.
house? Yeah.
24/7.
So just doing one of these, with the tap handle.
But not everybody had a phone in their pocket. It would have been dangerous.
Wait,
right?
you were doing keg stands? What?
JD Vance was 22, apparently, when this picture. Good for him. Good for him.
He looks comfortable.
Joanna Stern has written for the Wall Street Journal, and I'm a sucker for this. I admit it. I've been driving an EV for a year. I have only one regret. So, of course, I want to know, what's the regret? What's the regret?
I was curious. Okay, so here are the questions. She says that there are some things not to love, the biggest surprises and lessons. She says public charging is a fringe scenario. The idea is that most of the time she charges at home. Would you agree with that?
Totally. Range anxiety is not warranted.
You were worried about that before you bought your Tesla.
Absolutely, I was.
Yeah.
Yes, I was.
Yeah.
Oh my God, what am I going to do?
Okay, she also says driving and maintenance are different. Good different.
Totally agree with this as well. I mean, maintaining my Tesla, although I had an issue with a rotational noise that I never fully got to discuss on radio because we've been so damn busy. But maintenance of my car is essentially making sure I get the software download.
Oh, well, that's her next thing. Software matters.
It does. You are driving a computer.
Okay.
There's no engine. There's no engine in the car.
Here's a negative for her. She says, winter is coming and it's hell. She says the battery drops charge fast in the cold.
True. And that caught me by surprise one time in that I was in northeastern Pennsylvania visiting relatives and had a decent amount of charge and did not think overnight I was going to lose a fair amount of it, which I did. No catastrophe, was a surprise, had to deal. But yes, that's an issue.
And her only regret, she did lease the car, and she says you should lease because they're changing so fast and improving so much. But her only regret is that she leased at the wrong time, and she feels like she could have knocked $100 a month off of her bill because there are EV incentives, discounts that are going on now.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
I mean, if that's the extent of her experience, I love my car. I really do. I love my car, and I'm happy. And if I didn't, and if I made a mistake, but trust me, I would tell you all.
Yeah.
More headlines now from the Thursday edition of the newsletter. We were just talking about automobile travel, TC. Let's talk about airline travel.
So travelers' favorite airline seats, and I love this because they name names. They're really specific. This is an article by, Alex Fitzpatrick from Axios, and he says front row first class, and economy spots are some of the travelers' favorite airline seats, according to new data. So I don't like the front row either because then you have to put your stuff above.
Right.
Come on.
That's a total mistake.
Yep.
My rider, if I had one,
yes,
is do not book me in the front row.
Okay.
I do not want to sit in that front row.
No, I totally agree with you. I was shocked at this. I was also surprised at this. 67% of passengers prefer window seats, while about 32% favor the aisle. I'm an aisle person.
Okay, so I don't care if it's a relatively short flight. If we're under 3 hours, then it doesn't matter to me. But if it's a red eye, I have a couple of red eyes from California to Philadelphia coming up. More than one. What?
Why?
What?
Why?
Because I have no choice.
Why are you doing red eyes? You always have a choice. You're crazy.
So I can be on air.
Oh, you're crazy.
I can be on air.
You are crazy.
I'm taking. Thank you, Dan. I'm taking a red eye from Las Vegas in the not too distant future, where my arrival time is 5:55 a.m.
Oh boy.
So that I can be on air.
Oh, what
you
could
want
possibly
me to stay over?
What could possibly go wrong? Yes, I do.
TC and I are taking that day off. Yeah.
No, guys, let me please counsel you a little bit.
Oh boy.
Red eyes are on time. red eyes are on time. Red eyes, you
true.
can be very comfortable, and also I like the first flight of the day. If I'm not delivering a radio program, I want that first flight because they've slept there the night before, and that plane is going to be there, and that crew is going to be there. So that's another of my tips. You're safe on a red eye. Take the first flight of the day if you can. And if I'm flying a long flight, then I'm going to try and sleep, and I want that window seat. Not because I'm going to look out the window.
You don't want anyone to climb over you. Yeah.
Exactly.
I get it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, I get it. I like to be on the aisle.
Avoid row one.
Yeah, avoid row one. But I like to be on the aisle because I don't want to have to climb over anybody. That's sort of my thought. So, yeah. Yeah, but I thought that was a very interesting piece and one worth looking at smerconish.com, obviously. And
we have such great diversity of story. Go ahead. You've got your Olympic
Yeah,
update.
I was going to say, I have been loving watching the Olympics. The swimming last night was unbelievable. That French kid, oh my gosh, he's amazing. Katie Ledecky wins gold in the 1,500 meter freestyle, new Olympic record. She's incredible. That 30-year-old Swedish swimmer, the female that won, I think it was, what was the race? I can't remember. 200 freestyle, I think. I've never seen a woman more shocked in her entire life. When she turned around and saw that she had won gold, she almost didn't run the race, swim the race. Her coach made her do it. 30 years old, and she won. It was amazing. Like, I love these Olympic moments, Michael. I'm so into it.
I'm just so pleased that it's going so well, for Paris, that it's going well I'm happy for NBC, I'm happy for Comcast, I'm happy for everything. Dan?
I saw a stat about Katie Ledecky last night that the top 20 women's 1,500 meter freestyle times all belong to Katie Ledecky.
She's
of
incredible.
All the top 20
That's amazing.
times in the world.
She's incredible.
That is amazing.
Absolutely incredible.
Okay, here's my favorite story of the day. It's taken this long to get to it. At Smerconish.com from The Atlantic. It is a mingling story. And by the way, whenever I see a story that is related to what I loosely describe as the Mingle Project coming to Indianapolis.
Oh.
The details are in the newsletter.
Oh, now we're allowed to talk about it.
Indianapolis. Please, please, please come to It's also a fundraiser for a presidential library. So please see me in Indianapolis. The details are all in the newsletter. But anytime I see a mingling-related story, I say to Alice, flag it and put it on our Mingle page in addition to being in the newsletter. And here's an example. This is the way that it begins. In the summer of 2009, Amy Rose and Alice Ferguson, two mothers living on Greville Road in Bristol, a mid-sized city in southwest England, found themselves in a strange predicament. They saw entirely too much of their kids. We were going like, why are they here? Why aren't they outside? The friends decided to run an experiment. They applied to shut their quarter-mile road to traffic for 2 hours after school on a June afternoon, not for a party or an event, but just to let the children who live there play. Intentionally, they didn't prepare games or activities. With time, space, and permission, what happens? The results were breathtaking. The dozens of kids who showed up had no problem finding things to do. One little girl cycled up and down the street 3,000 times. She was totally blissed out. Suddenly, the modern approach to children's play, in which parents shuttle their kids to playgrounds or other structured activities, seemed both needlessly extravagant and wholly insufficient. You get it, there's more to it, but to me was just so reminiscent of the way I grew up and how much of our play was relegated to the street, on which I lived, the block on which I lived. And I have distinct recollection. We had so many fun activities, but one of them was, Dan, did you ever play Nerf football with your buddies?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. With the whistling football, the foam ball.
The foam ball, yeah. Ours didn't.
Yeah.
We didn't spend the dough for the whistle one, but yes, that's. I mean, I remember.
Wait, why didn't you ask me that?
Because you're a girl,
Because you went to the
and you throw like a girl.
Oh,
so
okay.
I remember we would use the cars. Just imagine you're playing Nerf football. It's 2-hand touch and like 2-on-2. You go out for a pass, somebody covers you. I remember like you could do a down and out before the car, right in front of the hood of the car, or behind the car, because there was like an art to catching the ball right behind the car. It was all fun stuff. It was really, really great.
Your childhood was exactly like mine. That's a bit weird. It did the exact same thing because I would pretend the cars were defenders, and you would move around them and catch them over the. Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, my parents, they drove me nowhere. They didn't drive me to play. We went outside and we played.
Yep. Played outside, and if the Nerf football hit the car, no harm, no foul. It's great.
Correct. Ladies and gentlemen, those are your headlines, or some of them, from the Smerconish.com daily newsletter. In the newsletter, hello, Indianapolis, November 14, in connection with the Benjamin Harrison Presidential Site. That's the event. I am presenting the Mingle Project for the benefit, how cool is that, of the Benjamin Harrison Presidential Site. November 14, 2024. Get your tickets. They're on sale. All the details are in the newsletter. Thank you for that. See ya.